wish I could film every video like this. Hi, little mama. Stop. Stop. Oh, my baby girl.
Hello.
You literally did it right as I was getting ready. What are you laughing at?
Hello.
Can you stop?
I'm fine. Sorry.
Hi everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, I know I do the same hand gestures every time. You can't distract me.
Do some better hand gestures.
How's that for a hand gesture? Is that good for a hand gesture for you?
Got him.
Hi everybody, I'm back. Low-key, I've kind of been dreading coming back and filming for this reason right here. I felt like since I've been MIA for a couple of weeks that I have to address the elephant in the room and say why and have this big, great excuse or reason or justification why I haven't filmed, because I kind of feel like I let people down. And I feel stupid and douchey saying that, because then it's like, oh, you think you're so great that like everyone just needs your videos? No, but I mean, what the fuck? We all know I'm not working. I can't just post a video once a week. Like, really, Libby? I don't have any great big reason why I haven't filmed except for the simple fact that I just haven't felt inspired. I haven't had anything to talk about. I have nothing to say. And I didn't want to just jump on here and film a video and record for you for the sake of just putting something out and half-assing it, because I feel like part of what people enjoy about my videos is that you can tell that I'm speaking from my heart and that I really truly mean and believe what I'm saying. And if I just sat down and rambled a bunch of bullshit, it wouldn't resonate with you. So that's really the biggest reason why I've been missing. I haven't had much to say, and that's not really because, oh, my life's just been so great and fabulous and oh, I have nothing to complain about, but it's mostly just I've been in a really weird like funk these last couple of weeks. I have been really busy too, planning for a trip coming up at the end of this week, and also I've had a few garage sales, and I helped a girlfriend of mine do some serious landscaping and yard work, and that took up an entire day, and I was just exhausted after that. And so I don't know, time got away from me a little bit too. I was a little bit, I don't know, I've just been in a little bit of a funk, and I think it's because a couple of weeks ago I had 3 panic attacks in one night. I'm frustrated about it because I think about in movies when you see like signs that say it's been this many days since we had an on-site accident or something like that. I think about that. It's been this many days or weeks or months since I had had a panic attack. I had actually just talked to my therapist about it when we did a little bit of a check-in and told her, oh, I don't even remember the last time I had a panic attack. And then 3 times in one night. And if you've ever had a panic attack, they're exhausting, they're frustrating, and they're discouraging, and you just kind of feel like any progress you've made in your life or in your mental health journey, you take steps back. You're almost starting from zero. I felt so defeated. And what makes it shittier is that I know 100% what those 3 panic attacks were about. I don't want to go too much into it, because I do want to make a video at some point where I talk about my panic attacks and things that have happened to trigger them, or things that help me get out of them and so forth. But I do want to just briefly run down, I guess, what happened. I have this fear. My greatest fear is Sean dying. Obviously, it's not like I'm special. I'm sure everyone feels that way about their spouse. If you don't, you should probably talk to someone about it. But I don't want to lose a loved one, you know, my mom, my dad, my siblings, whatever. But my greatest fear is losing Sean. Wow. And 2 years ago, I had a little bit of a sense of this fear. It was when Sean was in an accident. It was a hit and run, so he was hit. I got a phone call from an unknown number. I answered this call, and it was Sean, and he was calling me to tell me that he had been in a car accident on the highway It was a hit and run, and he was calling me from like the state trooper's phone. And like that kind of specific thought had crossed my mind before. Like one night, you know, what if I get this call and it's from a state trooper, someone telling me Sean was hurt, or they show up at my door or whatever. And granted, when the phone rang and I picked up, it was Sean. But nevertheless, it was almost just this fear kind of playing out a little bit. And I remember driving to go pick him up, and I was driving south on 75 because I had to get to north 75 to see him. And you know, as I pulled up, I could see all the ambulances and I could see all the backed up traffic, and it just like hit me. I don't even remember how I got onto the highway and crossed over all those lanes to get to him, but it was almost an out-of-body experience. I remember getting out of my car, and it was, you know, like a scene from the movie. The door was left open and I was running down the highway into his arms. And obviously he wasn't hurt, he walked away from that accident, but it scared the shit out of me to get that call. You know, you get that call and the first thing someone says is, I'm all right, but it just makes your blood run cold. A year ago, Sean and I were driving home from Detroit, and I was in the car behind him, and I witnessed another car accident, and I witnessed the car accident that he was in. And I personally hate when people tell stories and they leave details out or they act really vague. You know, it can be frustrating because it's like, I just want to know, I want to hear the details. But I could close my eyes and picture that accident. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember it like it was an hour ago. And it's still very hard for me to talk about. But to keep it short and simple, I witnessed this accident, and it was a terrible, terrible accident, and it was terrifying. And I thought that not only was I going to lose him, but I was going to watch it happen. Fast forward now to a few weeks ago. Sean was out hanging out with his friends, and I was going to go downtown to pick him up. And I don't know what happened, but I called him and I was talking to him on the phone, and it was just like, it was almost just like a deja vu moment. It was just very bizarre, but it was just deja vu from past conversations and situations. I don't even know how to explain it. And I didn't really feel like getting out of bed, and I was just like, hey, can you just go take a Lyft to come home? I mean, he was 10 minutes away. He was in the next city over. He managed to talk me into picking him up. And so I got in the car and I was driving to go get him, and on my way there, I witnessed a car accident. And it was between a regular car and a Lyft car. And I remember seeing it and thinking, you know, like, Lyft, like Sean could have been in that car. And as I drove by the scene of the accident, the person was one of the people was out of the car, and they were like laying in the grass. And it just felt too familiar to me. And it just put me back in that place. And it was a very out-of-body panic attack. I don't always have panic attacks and know 100% what starts them or what sets them off. But this one, I knew what it was, and it had everything to do with Sean. I was just so scared that something was going to happen to him and that I was going to lose him. And I felt myself start to breathe really heavy. And it was out of body in the sense, it wasn't like I was watching myself kind of thing, but it was out of body in the sense that on one hand, I'm freaking the fuck out, and then on the other hand, I'm sitting there thinking like, Libby, that wasn't him, that he wasn't in the car, you're going to pick him up, he's fine, you're gonna see him in 2 minutes. And it was frustrating because I could see what was happening. I could see that I was going down that path, that I was about to freak the fuck out majorly, and I couldn't stop myself from doing it. And so I go and I pick up Sean, and of course, he's been out with his friends having fun, having some drinks, and I pick him up and I'm hysterical. He gets very frustrated when I'm upset like that, and it's the same way I would get upset, because it's, you know, I love you, why are you so upset? And it's just like, I want to help you, but I can't help you. And it just, as the night went on, when I would try to explain what was happening, I would just get more and more hysterical, and it was just back to back to back panic attacks. And I say all that to just say why I've been missing. And I know, like, that was such a long fucking explanation, but I wanted to explain it a little bit. It's just so frustrating. I'm so frustrated. I'm frustrated that I couldn't talk myself out of the panic attack. And it's funny because if it were anyone else, I would have empathized and sympathized and been, you know, don't feel bad. Sometimes these things happen no matter how much you prepare, how much you try, you can still have them. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, but it was me, and so I'm pissed. So I just kind of felt weak, and I felt like I had no right sitting down and talking about my anxiety and my depression and acting as if I know anything about what I'm talking about, because I can't even handle it myself. And I guess that's stupid because you don't necessarily watch me because you think like, she's an expert, she's got her shit together. It's more so, I assume, from a, oh my gosh, I totally get it, I can relate to this girl standpoint. But I just felt so pissed at myself. That's kind of how this 2-week hiatus kicked off. The following week I kept myself busy, and I, like I said, had some garage sales, and I did a lot of like physical activity, and it felt good, but I kind of felt like I was in a very weird place. I felt very stressed. Sometimes my therapist, we have this conversation where she tells me that I tell her things, and when I'll be talking about a subject like, you know, someone saying something to me, and she'll say, how did that make you feel? And I'll go, well, I just felt bad because, you know, I worried that that would have hurt Sean's feelings if he had heard it, or, oh, that would just upset so-and-so. And she'd be like, no, Libby, how do you feel? Well, I just feel, you know, bad for this person. And she'll tell me, you know, I worry that maybe you're not confronting how you feel, and you're just too much revolved and wrapped up in how other people are gonna feel. And so I try really, really hard to get in touch with those feelings, because I don't want to do that. I don't want to suppress, I don't want to bury, I want to feel my feelings and get them out, because it's just better out than in, you know? But I've just been feeling very anxious these last couple of weeks. There is, you know, just, again, I hate being vague, but there is a personal thing happening right now in my family, just so heavy on me. So there's like kind of that in the back of my mind, and I'm also just very anxious about work and money and finances and things like that. Not to say that I'm not in a good place, but it's just like, but what if? That's where I'm at. I think that's what my problem is I'm just in a very what if place. I'm trying so hard to get out of it, because you can't live in a what if world, because if you what if, you will drive yourself crazy, and you will have panic attacks, and you will just feel anxious and stressed out. But that's where I've been. I've been in a what if bubble. I'm just scared. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if... I just feel such little control. Sometimes I have these thoughts that are just the kind of thoughts that you don't want to say out loud because they're very devastating. And it's the, is this what the rest of my life is gonna be like? I can't do this for the rest of my life. I can't live in a what if bubble. And it's scary to say those things out loud, because I feel like, and I worry that when I say it, people hear or think suicide. They think, if you're feeling helpless or hopeless, or is this what my life's gonna be like, you feel like you don't want to go on, and that's not it. And I've been in those places, I've had those thoughts, and so I don't want to undermine them, I don't want to belittle them by any means, but being in the middle of the road can be really lonely, because if I'm trying so hard to be delicate about the way I say it because I don't want to misspeak, but it's like, if you're suicidal, it's a little bit more black and white. You know, it's more, I feel this way, I don't want to go on. That's not how I feel. I don't feel that way. I don't feel like I want to die or anything like that. I just feel scared because I realize that there are things in life that I can't control. And it's funny because I have faced a lot of things that if you asked me before they happened, I would probably say, oh my gosh, I'd lose my shit. I'd go crazy. Oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine. And then they've happened to me and I've handled it. I've managed. I've been fine. But it's just scary to feel this way and to not know how to talk about it, because it's just hard to articulate. It's hard to explain. I am currently feeling the way I feel in all my videos. Do I even make any sense? Do I make any sense? Do you understand anything I'm saying? Are you just agreeing with me to make me feel better?
Oh, yeah. No.
I'm just scared. I'm in a very uncertain place right now in my life. Just turned 30. If you saw my video like 4 videos ago, that means I want to have a baby, but I'm unemployed. So it's like, okay, I have to go back to work, but like, going back to work, but you want to have a baby, so then you have to take maternity leave. Do you get a job while you're trying to get pregnant? Like, is that fucked up? Or do I really care? Like, do I care if that's fucked up? I mean, like, and then what if I can't find a job? Because I've been looking. And I just, like, my last job scared me and scarred me so much that I don't know if I can do it again. I don't know if I could work in an office and just, I said to Sean the other day, how am I supposed to get a job and like make friends? I don't know how to fucking make friends. I'm just at a very uncertain time in my life, and I think what I'm feeling is probably very normal. But I don't know about you, if you have anxiety or depression, but I feel like everything that happens to me, I find myself going like, okay, you're freaking out, you're being kinda, is it because you have anxiety, or would a normal person freak out about that? And I think any normal person who would be in my position would feel the way that I feel. But it's a matter of like being in touch with and understanding and like knowing what's happening, what's going on, and just being very in tune with it so that I can see those signs, can prepare and try to do my best to avoid any sort of meltdown or panic attack. Scared as I am, and as anxious as I feel, low-key, I'm kind of digging it because it makes me feel so fucking strong. It makes me feel like a boss. Like, it makes me feel like, fuck yeah. Yeah, this happened to me and that happened to me, and I'm not throwing a fucking pity party. I'm just owning it. I'm doing what I have to do. You know, my dogs really throw off my like editing, because it's like 1 minute I'll be holding a dog and the next minute I won't, and then the next minute they'll be on the bed, and it's like, clearly this was filmed over several minutes. Knock it off. Knock it off. Knock it off. And then of course I get distracted. How could you not? Can you stop? Be loving. These things that I face, these hardships, the shit that happens, it makes me feel strong when I go through them. It makes me feel like I can handle anything that comes my way. Shh. We're filming. It makes me feel strong. It makes me feel like I can handle anything that comes my way. But I guess it just puts everything in perspective. In my life, there's only one thing I care about. Or one group, I should say. And that would be my loved ones. Dogs included. But if my family and my friends are happy and healthy, everything else will figure itself out. And I'm not saying that everything will be rainbows and sunshine and I won't face hardships and shit won't go wrong. But if you have that solid foundation, everything works itself out. It really does. Sometimes it just takes time. And it might take more time than you think it should, or than you expect, or than more time than you think you're capable of handling. But it's just a matter of being patient and trying to stay strong. And staying strong doesn't always mean being a fighter and yeah, fuck this, I got it, I can put on a brave face. No, sometimes being strong is laying in bed and doing what you got to do to make it through the day. But you just got to find your foundation. You just got to find what makes your life worth living and keep fighting. I'm not making that statement to say that, you know, oh, just find, you know, that's all it is. People who are upset, who are suicidal or who have committed suicide, you know, they just didn't know. That's not what it is. It's so much more complex than that. But if I can offer up what has helped me, it's finding what is worth living for and what is worth fighting for, and realizing that so much of what we go through, it's like we have tunnel vision, and it's just everything seems so much greater than it is, and just so much bigger than it is, and we catastrophize and we live in this what if world, and we just freak and worry and panic. You gotta find that solid and strong thing that you can focus your sights on. I can't believe I'm about to say it. Find what makes you feel like you're not alone. And I laugh because I swear I somehow always loop back to that same message. But it's true. You know, I've got Sean, I've got friends, I've got people in my life who don't necessarily know what I'm feeling, who don't go through it themselves, but they give me a reason. They give me a reason to keep going, and it's not as simple as you may seem. It's not just, well, it's because I love them, or I wouldn't want to do that to them. I mean, yes, that certainly is part of it, but it's more so that I want to lead by example. I want people to know that you can be strong, you can get through things, but you can have your bad days, your hard days. You can have those days where you beat yourself up, where you think that you're weak, where you're disappointed in yourself, where you're angry with yourself, where you think that you failed because you had a weak moment where your mind and your sickness got the better of you. You know, that day I had my panic attacks. I think part of what was so discouraging is that it felt like my anxiety won. And I mean, to sound cheesy and cliche, my anxiety might have won the battle, but it's not going to win the war. Hi, Mama. You know, I'm one tough bitch, and I want to be someone who can show you that you can get through it. And you might need those days to yourself, or that time to yourself, or those moments of lying in bed and not going out. You have something to say? Do you want to say something? Might have those days, but that's okay. As long as you get out of bed eventually. As long as you get dressed and you go out into the world eventually. It is okay to let yourself feel what you're going through and take time and just figure it out, as long as you don't stop there, as long as you don't let it take over and consume you. You gotta keep going. I'm gonna get going. I'll be back. I will be back next week. I'm so sorry. I felt like shit for not recording. I felt like I let people down, or I felt flaky, and I just needed the time. And like I said, I didn't want to half-ass it, so anyway, until next time, I hope you're having a good night, a good day, a good week, a good life. Have a good one. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share and post and tell people about me, because maybe I could help someone. You never know. That's why I do this. That's why I keep going. That's why even on nights or days where I'm recording and I'm like, do I even make sense? But it's like, that's part of the charm, I like to think, is maybe I don't make sense 100% to you, but I'm sure I do to somebody. I'm sure I'm speaking someone's crazy language. So, until next time, have a great day.